Hello, students, and welcome to Hebrew Wisdom Literature. You may have heard it said of some people that are so heavenly minded that they are no earthly good. They give the impression that it is a waste of time to be concerned with anything that isn't connected to the church in some way or another. That certainly is not the view of the wisdom writings where the activities of daily life are given high priority. In these books, being spiritual has a rich, full meaning that is linked to an enjoyable life and living in the way that fulfills our responsibility to God as well as those around us. The material you are about to study focuses on our humanness, from the family life to the work world, from the pleasures of life to the times of suffering. The book of Proverbs focuses on living life successfully by living it in fear of the Lord. It demonstrates the difference between wise and foolish behavior by using light, many times even humorous verses that catches our attention and are easy to remember. At the other end of the spectrum, we find that soberness of Job and the futility of Ecclesiastes. In Job, we are allowed to search for answers in regard to the age-old question of suffering of the righteous. The setting in which the search takes place is life of a righteous man who suddenly faces overwhelming suffering. But more difficult than his suffering is his inability to understand why God seems to have deserted him in his time of need. In Ecclesiastes, we are brought to face with the reality of our own deaths and forced to admit that the activities of life will continue quite normally without us. The key to handling this reality, the teacher says, is to recognize it and then rejoice and enjoy every day that God gives us, being careful to fear God and keep his commandments. The three books, Job, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes, give us a balance of understanding of life, prosperity or adversity, sickness or health, good times or bad, are all woven together in our faith experience. All of them require that we live our lives in faith and that we appreciate the gift of life that God has given us. A large part of that, says the teacher in Ecclesiastes, is the accepting that there are limitations in life that we cannot change. In other words, we can't stay 29 forever. Our hair will turn gray, our strength will weaken, and before we realize what is happening, we will leave this life forever. The practical perspective of this study is obvious. The wisdom teachers sought to influence the people of Israel to live in the highest religious and ethical principles. I am sure we all agree that this is a major concern in our own culture. From politicians to school teachers to ministers, our nation desperately needs men and women who are people of integrity. The wisdom teaching of Scripture specializes in forming such people. In order to receive the most of this study, you must read Job, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes in their entirety. As you follow the course chart, you will find all the assignments that are due dates clearly stated. Notice on the course chart that participation in the introduction activity counts 10 points towards your grade. I am requesting that you introduce yourselves as quickly as possible. I hope you find this class to be enjoyable both educationally and spiritually. Welcome to Hebrew Wisdom Literature.